Long ago, in the land of Judah, a great famine swept through the fields of Bethlehem. With heavy hearts, a man named Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their 2 sons left their home in search of food and a better life in the distant land of Moab. The journey was long and uncertain, but the family held on to hope. They believed they would find a new beginning in this foreign land. Moab became their new home, but soon sorrow struck. Elimelech passed away, leaving Naomi alone in a foreign land. Her sons took Moabite wives, Ruth and Orpah, and for a time they found some comfort. But tragedy struck again. Both of Naomi's sons fell ill and died. Naomi's heart was shattered. She was now a widow in a foreign land, bereft of her family and her future. In her grief, she decided to return to Bethlehem, the only place where she might find solace. On the road back to Judah, Naomi turned to her daughters-in-law with a heavy heart. "Go back to your homes," she urged. "May the Lord grant you rest in the house of your mothers." Orpah kissed Naomi and, with tears in her eyes, returned to Moab. But Ruth stood firm, her voice filled with love and resolve as she declared, "Do not urge me to leave you or to turn back from following you. Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." In that moment, Ruth's devotion shone like a beacon in the darkness. Together, the 2 women journeyed on, bound by love and faith. When Naomi and Ruth arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred. The women whispered, "Is this Naomi?" But Naomi, her face etched with grief, replied, "Do not call me Naomi, which means pleasant. Call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me." Though she had returned home, her spirit was heavy with sorrow. Yet beside her stood Ruth, a foreigner in this land, ready to face whatever lay ahead with unwavering faith. To provide for them both, Ruth set out to glean in the fields, collecting leftover grain behind the harvesters. It was backbreaking work, but Ruth's determination never wavered. By divine providence, she found herself in the fields of Boaz, a wealthy and kind man, and a relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz noticed the young woman, her humility and hard work shining through. He asked his workers, "Whose young woman is this?" They told him of her loyalty to Naomi, how she left her homeland to care for her mother-in-law. Boaz approached Ruth and spoke kindly to her. "My daughter, listen to me. Do not go and glean in another field. Stay here with my workers. I have ordered the men not to touch you. Whenever you are thirsty, drink from the water jars they have filled." Overwhelmed by his kindness, Ruth bowed low and asked, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes, since I am a foreigner?" Boaz smiled and replied, "I have heard of your love for Naomi and all you have done. May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." One night, following Naomi's advice, Ruth went to the threshing floor where Boaz was resting. In a gesture of humility and trust, she lay at his feet. Startled, Boaz asked, "Who are you?" Ruth softly replied, "I am your servant Ruth. Spread the corner of your garment over me, for you are a kinsman redeemer." Boaz was moved by her request and her courage. He promised to do everything he could to redeem her, but first he needed to speak to another relative who had a closer claim. The next morning, Boaz went to the city gate and gathered the elders. He declared his intent to redeem Naomi's land and take Ruth as his wife. The other relatives stepped aside, and the elders blessed Boaz's decision. In front of all the witnesses, Boaz removed his sandal, sealing the agreement as was the custom. Ruth was redeemed and her future was secured. Ruth and Boaz were married, and soon God blessed them with a son named Obed. The women of the town rejoiced with Naomi, saying, "Praise be to the Lord, who has not left you without a kinsman redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel." Naomi cradled the baby, her joy restored, her heart full once more.
Hey there! Looking for a meaningful gift? Jesus Made a Way is a beautifully illustrated children's book on Amazon, sharing an inspiring educational story. In a world full of noise, Let's help guide kids toward values that matter. By supporting this book, you're making a lasting impact and helping us create even more uplifting content. Check it out now. Link is in the description.